Let's go right now to city officials giving an update on the daycare death in the Bronx. Let's listen in.
And whomever is a parent, you had to see that picture of that young baby that lost his life to just reckless and careless and total disregard for those children. And I wanted, number one, to thank the first responders, the EMS workers who identified the symptoms that the children were going through. I want to thank the police department for their thorough investigation and immediately bringing this case to as much of a closure as possible. And I wanted to thank just our healthcare professionals. And we are going to just elevate to families on what we're dealing with. This is not I mistakenly leave marijuana around the house or mistakenly leave cocaine around the house. This substance is so dangerous. Just a small amount. That little corner right there, the size of a penny, that little corner you see here is enough to kill an adult. That little corner. So if you're bringing fentanyl in your home, laying it on the countertop, laying it on a place where your child sleeps, laying it near a crib, having it on your clothing, that little piece, that little corner, about the less than the size of a fingernail, a tenth of the size of a fingernail, can kill an adult. So imagine what it could do to a child. You are irresponsible as an adult if you have this inside your home. This is not the drugs of yesteryear. This is so dangerous. And just to think that we have to introduce into the lives of our children Narcan. You have to carry around Narcan. We probably saved the lives of 3 of those children because of Narcan. Because those first responders identified the symptoms of what these children were experiencing. What are we doing? What are we doing as a society to our children? This was probably one of the worst days I've had of going up to the Bronx, sitting down with those parents, losing their babies like this. They dropped the babies off to a daycare center, hoping that their children will be protected by the caregivers. And then speaking with the father yesterday, like, what do you say? What do you say? This is just total madness that we lost a child to this dangerous substance. And we almost lost 3. We almost lost 4 children to this dangerous substance. There needs to be a full national assault on this drug entering our city. This is a new drug. This is not a new type of battle. And people need to understand this. This is not the marijuana on your tabletop. This is a dangerous drug that a small amount like this can kill an adult. So if you are handling this and you have it on your hands, you have it on your clothing, and then you pick up your child, you are exposing them to the potential of this danger. And that's why we are here today. We're not going to allow this incident to take place and ignore this as just another day and another tragedy in the city. It's not acceptable. And just about everyone up here, we're all parents. We're all parents. And you cannot be a parent and not be angry at what happened to those 4 babies. I am. I am. Commissioner.
Okay, good evening. As the mayor said, we're here to provide some updates about two current investigations, both taking place in the Bronx. First, along with our partners in the Bronx DA's office, the Southern District, the New York Division of the DEA, and others, we are one step closer to getting justice for the baby so tragically and senselessly killed on Friday in the 5-2 precinct. And as we know, 3 other babies were hurt in the same incident. And now, 2 arrests have been made, charges will be filed, and people will be held accountable. What happened 3 days ago in the daycare center is truly unimaginable. It's a nightmare that these families will never wake up from. But believe me, the NYPD will never rest in our pursuit of anyone who puts our children in harm's way. The dangers of fentanyl cannot be overstated. This poison is extremely deadly, and if you traffic in it, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. No parent should ever have to go through something like this, and we will continue to work 24/7 to make sure there are meaningful consequences for all these horrific crimes. The second case today relates to a recent gang-related shooting in the Bronx 4-0 precinct. 2 innocent bystanders were shot in that incident, and a 71-year-old woman was killed. The suspect, whose intended targets were members of a rival gang, were quickly identified by patrol officers in the 4-0 precinct through video footage and still photos. And early this morning, less than 96 hours after the shooting, an arrest was made. As the criminal justice system takes its course, the message from our police department is clear. If you carry an illegal firearm, if you recklessly pull the trigger, if you harm anyone in our city, the NYPD will find you, we will arrest you, and you will be held accountable. Gang violence of any type of violence, for that matter, will never be tolerated. Our cops will never stop fighting for the people we serve. And I want to commend all the investigators and our partners in the Regional Fugitive Task Force for their fast, effective work in this case. Now, I'll turn it over to our Chief Detectives, Chief Joe Kenny.
Good evening. I'm going to give you an update on these 2 cases, and then when I'm done, the Health Commissioner will have some more comments about fentanyl. All right, I'm Chief Detective Joe Kenny. I'm going to give you 2 updates on recent homicides that have occurred in the Bronx. On Friday, September 15th at 2:41 p.m., NYPD and FDNY.
NYPD officials giving an update on 2 cases that happened in the Bronx. The first and foremost one that we've been following very closely is the one that involved a daycare. Sadly, a little child died. There are 3 still in the hospital, and the mayor just exasperated an inexplicable situation that took place and honing in on the dangers of fentanyl and the reality of just the most minute amount can kill an adult, not even, we're talking about children.
Expressing the outrage, literally, of the city. We'll have more on this, of course, coming up at the top of the hour on CBS 2 News at 6 o'clock. Right now, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.